Morning everyone. We're now moving into week 7 of lockdown. Can you believe it's 7 whole weeks of this craziness? Well, over the weekend we've had a bank holiday and there was VE Day. There was some quite strange social distancing going on, if I must say so myself. But also Boris Johnson and his government have made some announcements in regards to a reduction in the lockdown restrictions. They are quite ambiguous, but I think that what we need to look at that is from the perspective that we don't live in a police state, we don't live in an authoritarian state where the government tells us exactly what to do and we listen. So it's been left with some of the ownership still on us. When we talk about risk management versus risk avoidance, we have to think about it in different levels. We've got the personal level, we've got the organisational level, and then we've even got national and supranational levels of this. And so what we need to concern ourselves is the personal and organisational level in regards to the guidance that the government's given us. And so if it's saying go to work if you have to, well, you make that decision. You know, if it's saying you can avoid people where possible, but if you can't avoid them, then carry on doing what you got to do. It's about common sense, really. When we were in Afghanistan, we knew that there was a lot of IEDs all over the floor. We didn't know how many there were, we didn't know where they were, but we had a job to do. We had to go out on patrols, to go and meet person A, to go and visit site B. And if we hadn't have gone out because there was a risk of these IEDs, then we wouldn't have achieved our mission, we would have been wasting a lot of taxpayers' money, and we would have been told to come home, and we probably would have been out of a job. So we had to identify the risk, but then manage it in a way that allowed us to continue on with our mission. If we look at the construction industry, it's exactly the same in terms of when you're building a high-rise tower. There's a lot of risk. There's the risk from fall from heights, there's the risks of trips, slips and falls, there's risks from moving vehicles, all of these type of risks. If they're avoided, then guess what? The building doesn't get built. If they're managed and managed effectively, then you can reduce a lot of the issues. It's exactly the same in this context as well. We have health and safety, we have the health and safety executive, and that basically issues out the guidance, the rules, the regulations that if we adhere to, then we're able to carry on our jobs effectively. If we try and avoid all risk completely, then you may as well just stay at home. You might have a risk from your laptop electrocuting you, you might have a risk from, well, anything. And so we always have to be mindful of the fact that there's always risk, but we can manage it. And so that comes on to the whole COVID-19 situation. There is a risk, yeah, absolutely. And if you are completely sort of discombobulated by it and you're paralysed with fear, then you're not going to be able to do anything. Whereas if you are able to manage it effectively, and that's to utilise the government guidelines, that's to look at the health and safety executive guidelines, which I'm sure will come out quite soon, then you're going to be able to carry on about your day, earning your money, doing what you need to do, and just keeping safe as possible. And so this is how we manage risk rather than avoid risk. So hopefully that makes sense. It's just my thoughts on it, and have a great